First of all, I would like to say a couple of sentences about myself. My name is Humayun Dar, and I consider myself as an advocate of Islamic banking and finance. I've been involved in quite a number of initiatives. Among others, there have been academic initiatives as well. I was co-founder of the first ever master's degree program offered by any university in the Western Hemisphere, and that was MSc Islamic Economics, Banking and Finance at Loughborough University. I also helped Cass Business School, which is now back City University Business School, in setting up their executive MBA in Islamic finance. So I have got diverse background, starting with academia. I went into investment banking, then I started an advisory group, and lately my about 70% time is being spent on the advocacy of Islamic banking and finance. So given my different roles within the industry and outside the Islamic banking and finance industry in academia and elsewhere, I can share with you some stories of success. When we started MSc Islamic Economics, Banking and Finance at Loughborough University, and that was around about 20 years back now, we attracted in the first year about 15 students. And I must say that all of them, they went on to having very successful careers in Islamic banking and finance. Some of them, they ended up being CEOs of their financial institutions, whether they were banks or asset management companies or any other business within Islamic banking and finance sector. Those who succeeded, most of them, they had very strong quantitative skills. And I would emphasize that if you want to have a successful career in Islamic banking and finance, you must be strong quantitatively and you must be able to demonstrate your quantitative skills. So this is one thing. Along with this portable skill, I would suggest that you should have some strong soft skills as well. I would not be covering soft skills, but because I'm going to share some stories with you that might refer to the relevance of soft skills as well. It was, I think, about 12 years back. This one, I delivered a lecture at Durham University. And following that, I started receiving some messages through my secretary that someone from Durham would like to talk to me. And those days, it happened to be the case that I was traveling very extensively. I couldn't see the guy. And I didn't know, I did not remember who was this chap. So one day I happened to be in my office and my secretary said that this guy is adamant that he wanted to talk to you. I was in the middle of something. I asked someone else to talk to him, and the guy, this guy who used to work for me, who spoke with this chap, he said he's looking for an internship opportunity. You happen to give a lecture at Durham University, and this guy got your contact details when you were there, and now he would like to work for us. And so again, because I did not remember the guy, I asked him, okay, why don't you invite him for an interview? And I told him that, tell him that we would not be paying for his traveling expenses. So this guy spoke with him and he said, no, I'm not looking for money. And I asked another girl, Haliza, she used to work for me. She was our legal counsel. I asked her to interview him when he comes to London. So the guy came and Haliza gave me this report saying that he's actually quite good. Okay. So I told Haliza that, okay, we would offer him 3 months internship. and maybe in the first year we would not offer, first month we would not be offering him anything. Okay. Afterwards, if we think that he is of some use to us, we would give him some small amount of money. But the guy said, I don't want any money. I want to learn. So this emphasis on learning, this guy said, I want to spend 3 months with you because I want to learn these structured products and Islamic derivatives which you have worked on. And a lot of people in the industry, they either don't understand them or they are criticizing them. And I want to learn. Said, okay, fine. But those days we were working for the likes of MSCI, we had a couple of investment banking mandates, and the transactions we were working on, they were very confidential. And this guy every now and then would come to me and would ask about those confidential structures. And I started getting irritated. This guy, all the time he's asking me this thing, that thing. And apparently he was reading a lot. And the questions he would come up with, I knew where he was coming from. And unfortunately, we were bound by confidentiality contracts. I was not able to share a lot of things with him. But given his persistence, I would spit out a few things. So this guy, my relationship with him started on a very, I should say, uneasy kind of note, because he was too intervening and he was too inquisitive. But after a couple of months, I started liking him. I started liking him because we asked him to do some marketing and sales things away from structuring. And if he was successful, then we would teach him how to structure. And the guy did a wonderful job in marketing and sales. So I made up my mind that after these 3 months, we were going to offer him a job. And I think it was about 10 weeks, I took him with myself for a meeting with a hedge fund manager in on the west side of the city, London. The guy came back with me, and I think it was just 1 week before his internship was finishing, and he was supposed to start working for us on a full-time basis as a full employee. This guy came to my office with a piece of paper in his hands. And apparently this was a printout of an email. And he put that on my table and he said, do you remember you took me to this hedge fund manager? And I got engaged with them. I spoke with them. They invited me for an interview. And they have offered me this job. And the amount, the salary mentioned in that email was double of what I was offering to him. And he said, Dr. Dar, I really want to work with you. So if you can beat or at least give me this much, if you can. And the guy was a smart guy. He was from Morocco, a Moroccan French guy. Okay. And he said, at least if you can beat, if you can give me as much as this one, I would love to work with you. And I said, no, I would not be able to give you this much money, but I'm very happy that you have got this job. So he went to this hedge fund manager, worked with him for a few months. I remember I spoke with him he joined them in September or October. And it was either late December or early January. He called me and he said, I would like to take you out for lunch. And I said, okay, I know that you are now a hedge fund manager, so I would allow you to buy me lunch. So we went to this Moroccan restaurant, which was those days opposite to Harrods. And he produced another piece of paper.
I done it again.
So he was in habit of taking printouts and he showed me, he said, what do you think of this? This time, this was a bank in Abu Dhabi offering him double of what he was getting from this hedge fund manager. And I was only happy with him. I said, oh, I'm happy that you have got this job. From, within a few months, from 40,000, he got 80,000. Okay. But I advised him. I said, look, okay, I'm only happy for you. Go and join them, but give me this promise that you would not be leaving these guys before two years. Okay. Otherwise, you would be off track. No one would trust you. They would say that you are looking only money. Okay, you are after money, and employers, they don't like it. Okay. He actually listened to me. Still, he's working with that bank, but of course now he is at a very high position. So this guy was quantitatively very strong. Okay, and he was there to take up any job we would give him. Okay, and he is now an expert in Islamic treasury management. Okay, and apparently he is happy and his employer is very happy as well. So this is one example where the guy was inquisitive, he was into structuring, he was quantitatively very strong, and he actually not only sniffed opportunities, but grabbed the right opportunity at the right time. I will give you another example where quantitative skills would help you immensely. This other chap came to us through a reference as an intern. And as part of his internship portfolio, I gave him, those days we used to work for NASDAQ 100. As you know, this is a very interesting story. We used to screen stocks for NASDAQ 100 Sharia, which we launched during those days. So this guy, I actually asked him to start screening about 30 stocks from NASDAQ 100 from Sharia viewpoint. And he worked for 2 months very diligently, and he learned how to screen stocks from Sharia viewpoint. Then one day he came to me and he said, I have been invited by Bloomberg for an interview. Do you mind if I put all this work which I have done over here on a presentation, PowerPoint presentation, I should share this with the guys when they interview me. I said, oh, I'll be only happy if this helps. So the guy went for the interview. Next day he came back and he said, I made this, and he showed me that presentation. He said, I made this presentation, and immediately after the presentation, they offered me the job. So that guy, he started working. Even before 3 months he finished with us, he received a job offer from Bloomberg. So quantitative skills are absolutely important. Okay, you must go for acquiring analytical skills. Another area which is in high demand in Islamic banking and finance, and that is regulation and risk management. Regulation of Islamic financial services, this is a concern anywhere where Islamic banking and finance is a significant activity in terms of size or in terms of proportion. Okay. In UK, where in terms of proportion, Islamic finance is very small. Okay. However, the regulators over here, they have been concerned about Islamic banking and finance, and hence we keep on coming across some kind of frameworks coming from Bank of England or Prudential Regulation Authority, etc. Okay, like this Bank of England's new alternative tool for liquidity management. This is actually a very sophisticated framework, and a lot of regulators, they are looking at this one to develop their own similar frameworks. So regulation and risk management. Regulation on a macro level. Okay, if you want to work for a central bank, for example, they are looking for experts in regulation. Not only the central banks, I can tell you the Western governments and multilateral institutions, they are looking for good quality resources specializing in regulation for Islamic banking and finance and risk management on an institutional level. A lot of Islamic banks, they would like to have risk managers who know micro details of Islamic financial products and the functionings of Islamic contracts. So this should be area number 2 for you to look into if you are looking for a good career in Islamic banking and finance. The third area is actually compliance. Compliance, if you are a solid compliance guy or girl with the understanding of Sharia as well, you don't have to be a Sharia compliance officer only. These days, because of huge emphasis on cost cutting and cost efficiency, Islamic banks and financial institutions are looking for compliance officer, general compliance officers who have know-how of Sharia as well, so that they take care of Sharia matters related with Sharia audit and compliance. Okay. So compliance, while you are at the university, you should focus on compliance, and through small kind of engagements like this webinar, there are a lot of training programs being offered, and some of them they're free. Okay. So attend those webinars, seminars to have insight into Sharia audit and compliance, and so that when you go out for an interview, you should be able to tell the interviewer that you are not only a conventional compliance person, rather you have good understanding of Sharia and law as well. The fourth one is marketing and sales.